Millions of Americans have already cast their ballots. Let's bring in our political director, Washington Bureau Chief Rick Klein, with the latest on that. Good morning, Rick.
Yeah, good morning, George. More than 30 million Americans have already voted in this election cycle. That includes more than 2 million people who have voted for the first time. Virtually everywhere, we're seeing more likely Democrats voting early than Republicans, but the margins are very much smaller than they were in 2020, and it matters a lot across different battleground states. Pennsylvania, for example, in 2020, we saw Democrats make up 72% of early voters at this point. Now it's down to 60%, but that still means that Democrats have banked maybe 400,000 more votes than Republicans, according to our partners at 538. A much different story, though, emerging in Nevada so far. The Democrats have basically no advantage right now. There's still time to make up the numbers, but check this out. In 2020, Republicans were only 33% of early voters. Now it is up to 40%. So in this big state with a big Latino population, a whole lot of union members, some warning signs, at least early on in early voting, for Democrats, George.
And Rick, Generals John Kelly, Mark Milley have called Donald Trump a fascist. Kamala Harris agrees, and we have some polling on that.
Yeah, I mean, this has been such a negative campaign that actually both candidates are calling each other fascists. So we asked the question in our new poll with Ipsos, which candidate do you think that label applies to? And we even defined it in asking the question as quote, a political extremist who seeks to act as a dictator. 49%, that's almost half the country, say that Donald Trump is indeed a fascist. Only 22% say the same thing about Vice President Harris. That poll, by the way, was conducted before those John Kelly comments where he said he is a fascist. And it raises a question about how that can be. Well, among those who say that Donald Trump is a fascist, 8% say they're supporting him, they're voting for him anyway. And while that fascist label isn't really sticking on Harris, the idea of her pandering to voters seems to be. 57% of registered voters say that Harris makes proposals just to get votes, not to make policy. That's slightly more than people feel the same way about Donald Trump.